Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the No ID podcast. Have a comedian here. This man has, I called him about 5 minutes ago, an underground comedy king, meaning he's one of those ones that has the talent. He has the juice. The has a special out now called My Special Boy. This is a tribute to his son, which is like a, if you haven't seen it, it's in his bio. I saw him on an Explore page, the one and only comedian. Hold on, Josh Ward. What's going on, Pim?
Hey, what's up, man? What's up, Ron? How's everybody doing?
Good, bro. Let's just get into it.
First of all, let me say thanks, man. Glad to be here. Appreciate the opportunity. Glad to be on your platform, man. It's an honor. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you even coming on my platform.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? I am a fan. I respect the work, man. It's gonna sound crazy, but you did say moisturize my sexy about 10 seconds ago.
Hey, yo. Hey, sometimes it's necessary, especially when you this dog black. You know what I'm saying? The ash real good on the dark surfaces. You feel me? Gotta make sure I'm lubricated. Pause. No diddy.
Pause. No diddy. Resume. My special boy was a tribute to your late son Michael.
Yeah.
And one of the things I liked is what a lot of comedians have done. They turned grief into laughter and was more therapeutic for everybody. And in those 21 minutes and 27 seconds, I know the exact time because I watched the special 2 times.
Wow.
Right? I watched the special 2 times, which is in the link in his bio, by the way. Just want to throw it out there to the people that's listening. Go run the numbers up.
Yeah.
You got into it.
Yeah.
You turned what Kevin Hart says, laugh at my pain. You did what Richard Pryor had talked about with his special live in California or any previous special that he did. And I salute you on that because it takes a lot of guts and a lot of creativity for somebody to take something that's supposed to be tragic and flip that and bring us into their world. Because I'm sorry to be rambling. You see a lot of comedians making up these fake ass stories all the time.
Yeah.
And you be like, they're not believable.
Right.
But you actually took something and did it. And I just felt like you just deserve your flowers for that. Because I know that probably took a lot.
Wow. Yeah. I appreciate that, man. It was definitely, for me, it definitely was therapeutic in a way, but also it was like a challenge. I'm a fan of comedy, man. I'm a fan of the game since childhood. So yeah, like you, I've watched a lot of comedians take their tough times, their hard times, things like that, and translate it on stage and find a way to still find some funny in it. You know what I'm saying? And so that was the goal in that. Even when I was writing that material, I was just like, I got to try to find a way to be vulnerable about it and find a way to be real about it, but still be funny somehow. And I took it as a challenge. Like, if you're going to do this art, I feel like on the highest level, you got to make it personal. Those are the people who last, you know what I'm saying? When you make it personal, when you can bring people into your world, when you can tell a story, when you can relate, things that you'll think about later, all of that stuff. So yeah, that was my goal with it, man. That was my goal with it. It still wasn't perfect, but I only got one shot at it. So, I'm like, cool. There's a couple of bits that I didn't get off. I was like, But once it's done, it's done. It's done. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the project. It came out really well. Production quality is good on it. The audio and everything's good on it. And it's definitely a meaningful piece for me, for that being my first special ever. Was in that fashion and about that topic. So I was like, this is the shot. I'm going to do this for him, man. So it pushed me. It challenged me in ways that I'd never been before. And I'm just, proud of myself for doing it, to be honest. Like, takes a lot. You carry a lot with that every day. And so to be able to translate that, I was like, when I did that, I was like, yeah, you might have it. You might have something for this comedy thing. You know what I'm saying? To do that. I'm proud of it, man. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all y'all who go watch the special, My Special Boy on YouTube at Josh Ward Comedy. It's a good time, but it's also like, it's heavy a little bit, but yeah, I think it's a piece of art for me. So my first one of many, hopefully. So
I think you can do like a Cat Williams type, do like at least 10 more.
Yeah. That's my goal, man. Building the dexterity as well to be on stage for a long period of time. At this point, to be able to do, an hour or something like that. But my first special, I was like, I don't want to stretch out too much. And I didn't have that much time either, because the show that I did it on, there were time limits. It wasn't completely about me for real, but I just capitalized on the opportunity. Everything fell in place for me to be able to do it. And my boy, shout out to Mukazo, who gave me that opportunity, man. He let me get it, do my thing. He was like, "Yeah, I'll let you come in and tape it. You have one shot though. You're not gonna do no redos. You're not gonna be able to come back and reshoot it. So you better get off what you want to get off." And I wanted to kind of display a little bit of my reach a little bit comedically. I wanted to do a little crowd work because I love crowd work. So I wanted to do a little crowd work too, and just display some of the talents and skills that I'm trying to work on, man. That's all. I'm trying to get better. Trying to get better.
How long have you been in the comedy game? Shout out to Makazo, by the way. Good guy.
Because yeah, that's big bro, man. This is I'm going on 3 years now, so I'm kind of early for real, but they call me the young vet. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a little ahead of my time as far as how long I've been doing it and ability, and that's how kind of what I want to do because I'm older, man. I'm older in the game. When I'm out of these mics and these young kids getting up 24, 23, 25, I'm like, man, if I'd have been doing this when I was 22, 23, oh gosh, I'm almost 40 now. You know what I mean? I got to shave some of that time off. I got to try to make up for lost time. So.
Thanks. And that's impressive. You had 20 minutes of material in 3 years. There's some cats in the game that don't have 10 minutes of material.
Yeah, no, that's starting out, man. To be honest, I was terrible at writing jokes. I was just funny, just naturally funny, and tried to, translate that on stage. That's why crowd work I love so much because I just get to be me and be funny. But like that was my challenge. Like you got to learn how to write, construct a joke, and punchline, punchline, tag, misdirect, all the comedic skills that exist. That's been my challenge since I started, and because I've like pressurized myself in that way, I think it's paid off a bit, man. If I could remember it all, I could do 4 hours, bro. If I could remember it all, dude, I got bits I haven't even done yet. For real. The longest I ever did was an hour. Yeah, hour's the longest I've ever done. But yeah, it's been a stretch. So I've been stretching myself. So I'm proud of that too. I'm not afraid of the long time. I actually do better with long times. I hate 5 and 10 minute spots. I hate 5 10 minute spots. I want 15 and up. 15 to 30. That's my bread and butter. 45. Oh, we about to cook. We about to cook. Because then you can really get off. You know what I mean? You can really get off. So cut that time down and grabbing your audience and getting them to your pressure point or your level. You know what I'm saying? It's like every comic gets to set the tone of the room. And so the quicker you can do that, the more effective you can be. And so when you got more time, you got time where you can kind of like slow walk it. But when you got the short time, you got to hit it and quit it, baby. Like James Brown said.
You got to go in, man.
Yeah.
Bro, imagine they had an open mic where everybody get 45 minutes.
You just show up at your time or something. Jesus Christ.
Coming to the stage. God damn, another one.
But that's like the hardest part of comedy, man, for me anyway, because you got to get better like 4 or 5 minutes at a time. You know what I mean? Go to these mics and spend hours to do 5 minutes of comedy. You know what I mean? Spend hours to do 4 minute spot, that kind of thing. So, and I'm getting to the place now where I'm like writing longer bits. Like I want to try to write out stories more and stuff. And it's just not enough time to be able to get to where I want to get to in that way. So it's hard sometimes. I got to come in sometimes and like do the first part of a bit and then go to like another mic and like do the next part of a bit or the back end of a bit I know I need to work on, but I still got to lay a foundation from the first part so that the back part makes sense. So you kind of like try to speed through the beginning points that's going to give it cohesion and then work on the thing that you really want to work on. It's even an art to practice in comedy if you want to be effective. I mean, if you just go to mics and just recite the same thing over and over again, then that's different. But you want to get better, I believe, when you go out. You want to learn something about the bit, learn something about the language, learn something about how you wrote it, learn something about how the crowd receives it. That right there makes you hone a bit and make it better and better and better. So that's the goal most of the time, man. I've been working on that more. So yeah.
Yeah, I got into when I first started, just like you, I was horrible. And the only reason this podcast exists because I had a show so bad, the lady threw a chicken bone at me.
Yikes.
Right? She threw a chicken bone at me and cussed me out for being bad.
Wow.
I said, oh, I'm going to quit this shit.
That'll make you quit, man. I'm gonna be honest. Was it a leg or a thigh? Wing or breast? What did she hit you with?
She hit me with a thigh bone.
That's the girthiest bone, That thigh bone got the most weight on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was so My mentor, because I went to comedy school, my mentor, the V on 35th Street, Marlon Hargrave and James Cooper, those two guys was telling me, just like you was talking about 5 minutes, they taught me how to take 5 minutes. Then once you do your first 5 minutes, you add on another 5 minutes. Then you add on another 5 minutes. Then you add on another 5 minutes. Then you got a quality built set. But you also got a way, if you got 15 minutes, if one of those 5 minute sets don't work, you can pivot in and out of those other 10 minutes. It's just ridiculous. What I did like about you had on your special, the P joke.
Oh yeah, which I did too. I think I did. I did one with my son and one just for guys or whatever.
Yeah, the P joke.
Oh, okay, I got
Both of them, the P joke. And then you did a little crowd work.
you. Mm-hmm.
But what you had did was you said you wanted to talk about your son, and I think you did it within like the first 10 minutes. I got to go back and watch it again. I'm more than likely to go back and watch it again tomorrow. And I was like, okay, he's cooking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, this is. Excuse me, I don't know if you're a cuss, but this is fucking genius. This is
No.
fucking.
Yeah, you saw my special. You know I
Yeah.
cut.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if you really. You know how some people cuss on the stage, but then they come home
I
like,
do cuss
yeah,
on stage and not in regular life as often. Yes, that's true. I do cuss on stage.
this is amazing,
You
right?
can't
Yeah.
help yourself. I
Okay.
appreciate that, bro. Like straight up, I appreciate, you know what I'm saying, that because it means something to me when people actually connect with the work, you know what I'm saying, connect with what I put out. That really matters. And I had a comic come to me recently, like a OG I respect, and he was like, yo, I saw the special, bro. That's tough stuff, man. Like that jump was good. Like you can see the skills and everything you did. I was like, bro, I appreciate that. That matters to me. Because you want your peers to at least respect what you do, even if they don't like you as a person. You know, I want them to be like, hey, but he be cooking. He cooks now, so yeah, man, I
Man,
appreciate that, bro.
you threw the jokes on the grill. You served them up. I was like, okay. You had like a little crowd work in there because it was an older lady that was somewhere in the corner. This is the Richmond Funny Bone. I only been there like 3-4 times to perform. So I was like, okay, bet.
Yeah.
Now I'm all over the place because that takes, like I said, that takes courage. Because the reason I connect with yours, I lost my father back in 2020.
Wow.
Not 2020, excuse me. I lost him 2 years ago, 2023. He was diagnosed in 2020.
Okay.
And I had
I mean, diagnosed with
a stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
what? Okay. Yeah.
Stage 4 pancreatic. And he was the reason why I got into comedy. Yeah, it was appreciated.
Yeah.
And I actually wrote a bit. I wrote like 10 minutes about the funeral. I don't know if anybody's ever been to a black funeral. Black funerals are comedy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Especially mine.
Pure comedy, bro. Pure comedy.
So I was like, and I'm saying this because I tucked away the 10 minutes that I wrote about my father's funeral and his diagnosis and stuff. And I tucked it away. And I was like, I ain't telling these jokes no more. Because one time I did it, I didn't do it right. And somebody's like, oh.
Yeah.
But then somebody came up to me and said, my condolences, but that shit was funny. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But you gave me the inspiration. Like, maybe I just need to bring this back out one more time, a few more times. And see what's that.
What your experience was, that was my experience at the open mics trying to work that stuff out. I'm not even gonna lie. It's hard to get up there and tell jokes about stuff like that and the crowd not get emotionally connected to it immediately. And that was the challenge. I was like, all right, man, like every mic I did, I had to like address the audience, like, y'all can't get all sad about this, because then I'm not gonna be able to, you know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be funny if y'all in here about to weep for me. You know what I mean? Definitely that was one of the biggest challenges of working out that material, is having to go out to mics and figure it out. And when it wasn't figured out, that was tough. That was tough because the crowd, I don't know, you know, when you get this somber energy from the crowd, it kind of makes you sad too. You know, like you should be sad. And I'm like, I know I am actually sad, but right now I'm trying to do something, so I don't have time to be sad about this. You know what I mean? I'm grateful I had a chance to have those tough moments beforehand. That way, when it got on stage, I could feel it in the room happening. And if you notice, I addressed it. You know what I'm saying, during the room to bring the room back up from it, because they was trying to go there, and I was like, nah, y'all better come on with it. Unpucker your butt cheeks. It's about to get worse. So I don't want to hear it. You know. So that's definitely tough. That was one of the tougher parts of it.
Now you've been
It's a story actually about a mic while I was working it out. You mind if I tell it?
Go ahead, share it, man.
Yeah, so I went out to a mic to work out some of the material, whatever. I get up there, I do my set. It's a good set. It goes okay. I still had that same work through the somberness of the audience, and then this guy comes behind me and like literally roasts me. Now, this was like one of the first mics I had gone to since my son had died. Actually, this was my first time back out. And I don't know this guy. He's like new to the scene. I've never seen him before. And I guess he didn't have no jokes. So his jokes was going to be to try to make fun of me. So I go out to this mic. I throw on like sweatpants, a hoodie. I got on Crocs. Like, I'm low-key depressed right now. Like, I'm in real life, I'm depressed. But also, I got to work out this stuff. So I just throw something on to get out here to get through it and work through it. And then the guy comes up behind me and like roasts my outfit. You know what I'm saying? Because I came to an open mic with Crocs and a hoodie on and all that. I'm like, bro, if this is the top tier place for you to come and put on your duds and stunt and show off, you're in a low place in life, man. That's an open mic in a top. We're in a basement dungeon attic. I don't even know how you do that. I've never seen a dungeon upstairs, my nigga. What are we talking about? We're in an upstairs dungeon. What is we fresh for? You know what I mean? It's 11 people in here. Really? So that was an interesting, just an occurrence. It pissed me off. I got up and left the mic because on the inside I was about to cry, but on the outside I was about to fight. So I'm about to smack this white man with tears in my eyes, bro.
I think the crazy thing is, I think I know who you talk about. I want to say his name on the show.
Nah, it ain't who you think. It's a newer guy. You probably never seen this guy before. So the person I think you might be thinking is it's been in the scene for a while. Okay, well it might be. You might know. But I had a vendetta out on this guy. If I ever see him at another mic, he is getting the works. You hear me? You gonna roast me in my depression? Nick, I can't wait. I never saw him again. He never came out. And his set bombed. Let's be clear.
They always do.
Set,
They always do.
because the crowd wasn't with it. Because my jokes was telling them I'm grieving. And like, bro, you gonna make fun of the grieving guy? The crowd wasn't with that, so he tried to pivot, do some of his stuff. Nothing landed at that point. You would turn the whole room sour against you. Like, everybody was already like, that was so brave for him to even get up there. And then you would come behind me and be a dick. So yeah, it didn't go well. I never saw him again. But if I ever see him again, it's gonna be smoke. It's gonna be some furniture moving. On stage though.
On stage.
On stage.
If I ever got roasted by it, I had one comedian try it. And I was like, I'm gonna get his ass. And I waited till the next week. He showed up at the mic. He's like, what spot you want to go to? I said, man, put him in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
When you was talking shit, I was like, you know what? that 5 minutes is bad when you got the right material, don't
you? Yeah. 5 minutes turns to a long time if you ain't got nothing to say.
I was like, yeah, what you say? Remember last week? We talked about my hairline. I forgot my hat in the car. He was like, young bastard. I was so hot.
I ain't gonna lie. You do have a church deacon jump. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
It's all right. It's all right, though. It's all right, though. You got to ride with what you got. I'm balled all the way because mine are back here, too. I just gave up. You still fighting a good fight. I gave up.
You know, I bought Beyonce's hair product. I just got them last week.
I ain't even want to hear nothing after Beyonce. I bought Beyonce's Cowboy Carter album, and I just knew all my follicles was going to jam.
Oh, my God.
What are we saying?
Saw it on Instagram. I was like, oh, they said that the sacred, the creed is supposed to bring him back. I was like, okay.
What? Oh, so she got some hair growth stuff?
Yeah.
Never knew. I never knew.
I said, I've been doing this right here. I've been just going right here.
Keep it up. Believe in yourself. I believe in you.
I mean, you know what? I appreciate you, brother.
I believe in you, man.
I appreciate it.
Keep hope alive.
Who was your inspiration, or what was your inspiration to get into comedy? What was that thing that, I know you say you was always funny, right? But what was that thing that was like, yeah, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna try this and keep going.
Crazy thing is, I always loved stand up from childhood. Like, I always loved comedy and stand up from childhood. It was Eddie Murphy's my goat. You know what I'm saying? So growing up watching Eddie and Richard Pryor, watching a lot of the older comedians and stuff. I actually have their records, around here and stuff. Like, it was always a thing that was inside, but like I never felt like I could actually pursue that. Like, that didn't seem real. Crazy thing, when we were kids, I got 5 brothers and sisters, so 6 of us. We literally used to do like comedy skits for each other. We set up chairs and the other 5 sat down and one of us would get up and we would try to make the other ones laugh. Like literally like a comedy show. And now in retrospect, I'm like, it was there the whole time. Like I wasn't even paying attention to the connection until I started doing comedy. I was like, duh. So, I always had this thing inside that I wanted to pursue, never found space. I actually spent a lot of time, I grew up in church. So my mom and dad were both like ministers and stuff. So I grew up in church. So I was always up speaking. They used to make us go to the front of the church, recite stuff, and memorize scriptures and stuff. This is old school. You grew up in the 80s and stuff. You didn't have a choice. You had to. Everybody that live in this house, you know what I'm saying, got to go in the black family if your parents or whatever went. So I always used to do public speaking, stuff like that. And I grew in church and started speaking in church and stuff like that. But then I will always be funny, while I'm doing it. And so part of me was just like, I want to try to pursue this. So I tried to actually get my church to do this little like stand-up comedy / preacher night thing where it's like a comedy show. I wanted to call it the stand-up preacher, where it's like, a preacher that's actually got not do stand up, but it was like a play on words, basically. You know what I'm saying? Stand up guy, stand up preach, that kind of thing. And so never really did it, but had opportunities to just talk and be funny. And then 2020, the pandemic came and the world shut down and everything went crazy. And I was like, you know what? People dying that ain't never died before. You know what I'm saying? And I could be next. And so I don't want to live and die with this in my heart and never actually give it a shot. Why not? So then I just started writing. I just started trying to write jokes and stuff. And when I first started, my whole set was just about dogs. It was about dogs, bro. I was literally going to do a special on dogs. I was just joking about dogs. I got an interesting perspective, I think, about dogs. And so I was telling all these dog jokes and stuff like that. And then I was like, I don't want to be the dog guy. But so I actually performed for my wife in the house with the TV remote. I did during the pandemic. I wrote some stuff I've been working on, for a while. I was like, let me just try to perform and stuff. So did a little performance for her in the house. She was like, it was funny. It felt like it was comedy. It didn't feel like he was trying. It just felt like, it was funny. So then my first, I guess, performance in front of people outside of her was a family reunion. And my family was like, they was like, anybody want to do different, talent, do something, whatever, entertain? I was like, yeah, I want to try. I want to do some comedy. And he was like, you do comedy? I want to. It's like, all right. So they let me get out there and, for 25, my first time performing was 25, 30 minutes. And at the family reunion with all my family sitting in chairs and stuff, I got out there with my aunties and great uncles and everybody and said some outlandish stuff. The way I am on stage, it was in me from the beginning. I never wanted to be a clean comic or anything because the comics that I like were not clean. I didn't grow up laughing at clean comedy. That's not what I thought was funny. So I was like, I want to be true to my identity. I told them from jump, I was like, I'm about to say some wild stuff. Y'all gonna be all right? He was like, go for it. And so all my cousins and them out there, whatever, and I'm telling some wild jokes. And they was chuckling a little bit, but they couldn't laugh because your mom's sitting over there. You know what I mean? My grandma's out here. Great grandma's out here. End of the jump, they came to me after everybody, the end of the night, once all of the older people leave and the younger people stay and turn up a little bit, they was like, yo, you was funny as hell, bro. I just couldn't laugh because my mom was here. You know what I mean? So I did that. And from then on, it was like, if I can perform in front of them, I can perform in front of anybody. That was the most wild audience to tell these types of jokes in. They all, they real religious. I got a Christian family and stuff.
Yep.
And I was cussing. I was telling dick jokes. I was all the things, bro. Shameful stuff that you would never say in front of those people other times. So some of my family, they love that I do it. They don't love my material, but, they like that I'm doing it and whatever. So it started from there. And then my first time actually doing out public was in a comedy club, which is rare. It was an open mic that Sandman Comedy Club. We used to have. I remember you was in a competition at Sandman with me, actually.
That shit was so horrible.
Yeah, well, you were in a competition with me. I made it to the finals in that joint. But we weren't on the same night, so I never saw you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Sandman was the first place I ever did it outside of that. And once I did it that night, I was hooked. I was like, oh yeah, this is it right here. My set wasn't great, but I had the bones, I had the energy. I was quick with it for a little bit. I was like, I think I can do this. And from there, that was in 2022. Yeah, like 2022. That was like everything opened up. The world started letting us back outside and
Yeah, it
stuff.
was. Yeah.
And they started back doing the mics or whatever, and that was it. And from there, it was like, I'm in there. So I've been doing it ever since, doing it ever since.
Sandman was my shit because
Yeah.
it was, but
Yeah.
it was that was my jam. That competition showed me about preparation. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and just do the same shit that's been working. Blah boom boom. I done did this set already. Ain't nothing but 5 minutes. I just wanna, make sure I get it to the finals. Boy, I ain't prepped none of the shit that I was supposed to rehearse. I get up there. I'm like, all right, This is why I learned really how to get into the bag. They said the host at the time was like, I'm not doing no jokes. I'm just gonna bring you on and give the rules. I'm like, what? And who was first? I was. I go up there. I had cotton mouth. I'm like, yep. And I had another comedian. He was right there beside me. We cool. It was like, yeah, bro, we ain't making it. We kept hearing everybody say, I was like, well, it was. I'm off on Monday. I can drive home,
Yeah.
sleep in, and watch this night
It's a wrap.
rap. The preparation, man.
That's crazy because my Sandman experience was a little bit opposite. I wanted to go out here and do new stuff. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm about to hit him with this new John, this right here about to be fire. Do not go into a competition and try to do new material is what I learned. Do your old stuff that you solid on and you cool on, you know what I mean? Get up there and be confident, wreck. And that was the biggest lesson I took away from it. I'll never try new material in a situation where that counts like that. You know what I mean? So the finals jump, I did okay, but in my first night I cooked and made it to the finals round or whatever. But they shortened it. I felt like that robbed, a lot of, because remember it was supposed to be longer, but then the place was gonna shut down and they end up just going straight to like the finals. They took the people that whatever and changed the format. But it was supposed to grow from that 5 minutes to 15 minutes, that kind of thing or whatever. And that's where I was gonna excel. I was like, plenty of these guys can do 5 minutes. But when you get to 10, 15, that's deep water. That's deep water right there for a lot of comics. And I knew that. And so I was like, psh, if I make it past the first round, it's a wrap. Because with the longer time, I'm a cook. But then they cut it and they was like, no, we're not doing all the rounds and stuff. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to let this be the finals, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, all right, whatever. So, I learned the hard lesson that during that experience too. And don't let other comments get in your head. That's another lesson I learned. Don't let other comments get in my head. Because I was off kilter that night because another comic made a comment in the comics meeting that kind of like threw me. You know what I mean? It's always a little shade, you know what I'm saying, sometimes. So another comic made a little comment and it kind of threw me. I I wasn't as sure in myself when I got up there as I usually am. And I said, I'll never do that again. I'll never do that again. I'm going to cook despite whoever in the room thinks what. I don't care about what no other comic think. The only thing that matters to me is that audience. That's it. Because you can deny whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. You cannot deny laughs in the crowd. And that's the goal. Laughs in the crowd. I don't care what you think about me. I don't care whether you think I deserve or you think I'm as good as people say, whatever. Laughs in the crowd. Every room I go in and it's an audience, I'm cooking. That's what I vowed from that point on. I'm cooking. I don't care nothing about the comments, who in there, or what. Nope. Ain't got nothing to do with me. Me and this audience is all that matters. Since I've adopted that, it's helped me a lot. Because it's hard to go to open mics and the room full of 25 comics and 2 crowd members. You know what I mean? I hate that. I hate that. You know what I mean? Because then the comics sit back there and not try not to laugh, especially if they don't like you or whatever. They just sit back there, ignore you, start reading, start take out their phone, and you think you're not doing a good job, but they just not. It don't matter what. Nah.
Then they walk up to you like, yeah, you had a good set. Motherfucker.
No, not even. Not even. So, yeah, I learned a lot from that experience, too. That Sandman was interesting. That was the first and the only competition I've been a part of. I said I'm going to do another one eventually, but I don't know when that's going to be. When this opportunity is right. The last one they had, I wasn't able to make it all the days, so I didn't even sign the Pearl Street one. I think Pearl Street had a jump.
I wasn't know.
Funny wrong. Last Hamlin won that. Shout out to Last, man. Last one of my faves in the scene, man. Last is a beast. We've definitely been on some shows together. And yeah, we got, Last one of my faves. So shout out to Last Ham who won that jump. But I couldn't be there every week on Tuesday, and I could only be there like I think two of them, like one or two of them. The last one and one other one, and I was like, "Oh, there's no need for me to sign up for that."
Yeah, I was in that one. That's how I know who you knew he was talking about. Probably that was roasting you about the Crocs. I was in that one.
Oh no, they
And
weren't in that.
they wanted that one. Okay.
This was a new comic. Like I think they just graduated from the little class or something like that. Like they were new to the game altogether.
Mm,
He learned some lessons that night though, hopefully.
probably, but you know what? Some of us don't. Some of us don't learn them. I
Well, let's
think
be
it's
clear. While he was on stage, I did roast back. Oh, I ain't say that. I did roast back from the audience. I forgot that part. So yeah, I did roast back during the set, and then I left after. But yeah.
yeah. A lot of us don't learn those lessons, man. I think a lot of us try and be alphas, but really deep down inside we betas. A lot of us want to be big sharks in small ponds. A lot of us want it real quick. Like it'd be a comedian that's doing it for 6 months. Be like, yeah, I'm getting the open mic. I'm like, do what you got to do, man.
Yeah, good luck with that. What's your take on that? On like running a mic, man? Because I've had some offers to do so, and I've thought about it, but I just don't see the benefit just yet. Personally, like I know you get guaranteed time, sure, but does that weigh out the production? The work that it's. Have you ever ran your own mic? So yeah, what are the benefits of running your own?
You get guaranteed time, maybe a free meal, and a little bit of money in your pocket. That's it. Now, if you do decide to run your open mic, I wouldn't do one every week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
don't.
thing too.
Yeah,
I don't want a weekly job. I can't.
don't burn through yourself. Don't burn through your material, and don't burn through comedians. Because the allure of having a mic once every 2 weeks, once a month, is the greatest thing ever.
Mm,
I personally don't want to run one. My run lasted 3 weeks.
mm,
It lasted 3 weeks. I was running with three other comedians.
mm,
I stepped away because I put it on my story a couple of weeks ago, but I can see where it falters into.
mm-hmm.
I've also had opportunities to put on shows, but my thing is I love a lot of these comedians, but I don't want to jeopardize their craft or put their name in danger if the show don't go right. So I just rather just ask for some time, go pull up at an open mic,
Yeah,
and keep it pushing. Me
yeah.
personally, but if you want, I think everybody should at least produce one show in 5 years of comedy.
Why do you say that?
Just want to get the experience. That's it. Just one notch on your belt. I think everybody should do at least produce one show. They
Well,
can
actually, I
actually.
do. I have produced a show because I put a show together in North Carolina, and brought some of my boys up here from up here down there,
Mhm.
and did it whatever for a family event. So I mean, I guess that counts. I paid them. You know what I'm saying? Took
That
care of it.
does count.
So yeah, I produced the show. I was the host. So you know what I mean. It was a good time. It was a good time. A couple little shaky moments. Couple little shaky moments for some of the comics because certain crowd, you got to know your audience. You know what I mean? You got to know your audience. And if you realize that your audience not vibing with what you're doing, you got to be able to pivot. You got to be able to find a way to grab them. And one of the comics, he was just so vulgar, and it was just a lot for the audience. And then he wasn't telling no jokes. So you just up here cussing a lot and talking about a bunch of stuff, but you weren't telling jokes for real, for real. And so the vulgarity is tolerated when it's in context of funny in the material. And it's like pacing and timing and all that too. But yeah, I was like, bro, whenever they start yelling out at you and saying stuff like, you doing all that cussing, you ain't saying nothing. It's like, you heard the lady. She telling you what the problem is. What you gonna do? And he ran the light like crazy. Like, I was trying to get this nigga off stage for like 6 minutes, bro. I'm like, bro, what we doing, man? What we doing? So that kind of stuff I don't deal with.
I don't deal with it. I had one comedian. He did it numerous times. He ain't run no light, but he gave up in the middle of the joke where they had to do like let's go. You can do it. Keep going, bro. And it was like, I'm like, what? What are we doing?
Not the church encouragement. Everybody just started clapping for you.
Yeah, and before the show, I'm not really approachable for anything. I'm quiet as shit before I even go on the stage. I'm trying to get my mind right. I said he was asking me for some advice. I said, hey, lock in, because this isn't a black room. This is
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, Elaine, this is a nigger room you about to
Mm-hmm.
walk into, which means you better be able to fire off,
Right.
mess with somebody in the crowd, and keep it pushing.
Yeah.
And yep,
Yeah. Yeah. It's like
flamed out.
times. It's like that sometimes.
Well, man, Josh, I do appreciate you for coming on. This has been a good convo, bro. I hope
That's
to
it. We
connect.
wrapping up already.
Hey, man, let me tell you. Hey, bro, I appreciate your time, but I'm gonna say it like this: they got us back in the office with the government, bro.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
gotta get up 4:30 in the morning.
Jeez, bro, that's crazy. 4:30. Nice.
The earlier you wake up for the job, even more you hate it. 4:30, and I gotta get to work at 6.
Yeah,
So this man, I do appreciate it, man. And all I just want to say is, bro, this may sound weird. I ain't glazing or whatever these terms. I'm proud of you, bro.
I appreciate that, man. I ain't glazing at all, man. I appreciate that, bro.
If you need anything, just DM me because obviously I need to get this new email address worked out because that's some shit my sister helped me set up.
I checked my email a few times, and yeah, I was like, nah. Getting the search bar, trying to be specific. I'm pulling up stuff from 2013. I was like, ain't no way.
I'm
No way.
like, I know I
I'm not
sent
that
it.
deep in the trenches. So yeah. I'm glad. At least we send it multiple ways, so I appreciate it. So I can have everything to be locked in. It was a pleasure, man. Enjoyed it.
And people want to follow you and get in contact. Which way do they go to?
Yeah, follow me at Josh Ward Comedy on all platforms. TikTok banned me right now, so I got to start a new page on TikTok. That's a whole nother story we could have got into. But yeah, follow me at Josh Ward Comedy on all platforms, man. There's another Josh Ward out there that's more famous than me. He's a musician, so put comedy at the end of it. Josh Ward Comedy. That's how you find me. All right, don't just put Josh Ward. Yeah, hit me up, like, subscribe, share, follow, all the good things.
And follow me at Comedian Rome and on Instagram, No ID Podcast, at Comedian Rome Davis on YouTube. But if you hit the link in the bio, you can get all that stuff and more. TikTok, I don't be up there because Josh talking about he banned. This ban is about to be lifted. He about to get rid of TikTok. My dumb ass deleted the whole thing, brung it back. And I'm like, it ain't hitting no more, but you know.
There was a space where people deleted it and couldn't put it back on their phone. Like people was being petty, going in other people's phones and deleting the app off the check because they couldn't put it back. Was that a thing? That was the whole
It
thing.
was a thing. It was a thing. It's like Flappy Birds back in the day.
I don't know. What's Flappy Birds?
Flappy Birds was it was a game. I lie to you not. It was a game on the iPhone. It's just like I don't know. I can't really explain it, but I know that if you updated your phone to the new software because of copyright things, they deleted the Flappy Birds off. So if you guys got time, you can Google this Flappy Birds. People was actually selling outdated iPhones with the Flappy Birds game for like couple thousands of dollars, like
What?
16,000
Because it
off
still had
eBay.
the game on it.
Still had the game on it. It was like that old Atari type feel Mario, the Super Nintendo type.
Oh yeah. I have seen that before. I just googled it. Yeah, I have seen that before. People was hooked on that junk though.
I
Yeah,
was
people
one
was
of
on
them.
that Flappy Bird. I remember. Okay, all right. That's the joint where like go up or down and you gotta like maneuver between the tunnels and all of that. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. That's why.
If I didn't have the automatic updates, we would we be
We'd
having
be
a
rich.
whole we be having a whole different conversation. Probably wouldn't be no damn comedy.
Nah, I feel that though.
Josh, man, keep going, bro. That's all I got to say, bro. Like, just keep going. Thank you for making fun of my deacon hairline.
Nah, no offense, man. Please, I hope you can take a joke, bro. I was like,
I can
ah,
take a joke. I can take a joke.
yeah, nah, you
I
good.
can take a joke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same to you, man. I checked out some of your stuff as well. Keep going, keep grinding. Yeah, there's no end in sight because there is no end for this, man. That's the thing. If you're looking for a destination in comedy, there is none. The only destination is your next stage. So
Amen.
keep it going.
Amen. We're gonna sign off right quick.